What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 150th edition of the Sports Reality. My name is Jeremy John, aka the fourth greatest Grenadian of all time.
Perfect.
Aka the Lil Wayne of podcasts, because I will get on any podcast and hit it with the J train.
Perfect.
Let's welcome my co-host, Cousin BigThad. BigThad, what's going on with you?
What it do? I'm good, man. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Another week, another good week. You know what I'm saying? I'm alive. I'm healthy. Yeah. How about yourself?
Perfect.
Doing good, man. This week has been pretty busy, and I have some more work to do. Schoolwork, looking for a job. So that's it's been pretty busy. I can't wait until. Actually, let me not say that. I got stuff on the weekend too. I gotta do. Oh man, I got stuff to do for the weekend.
Yeah. So are you done? Is your semester done now, or you still have another? Or you just started a new semester?
I literally just wrapped up the first week of the last session for this semester. So you know how there's 3 sessions in a semester.
Yeah.
So the third session just started.
Gotcha.
Currently in week 6 of one class and week 2 of 2 other classes.
And this is your spring semester, right?
Yes.
Okay. See, I just finished my winter semester.
Okay.
And well, actually, no. Technically, next Tuesday is the last week, the ending of the winter semester for me.
Okay.
But yesterday was the last submittal date of our group project that we had. So I have literally a week to just sit there and wait for a submission, not a grade submission from my professor.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I'm gonna have an A anyways. It's just technicalities at this point.
For sure.
Yeah.
Are those the best classes?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when
like,
like literally with mine is I have 2 grades. I either have meets expectations or exceeds expectations. So meets is a B.
Yes.
Exceeds is an A.
Yes.
All right. So if you get anything out of those 2, you're basically failing. It's just A, B, and F. Like there's no letters in between. So but also another thing they told us is that, like, say you get 3, so we have 5 projects. Well, basically it's 5 big papers, but they call it projects. So out of those 5, if you get 3 exceeds expectations, the other 2 could be meets, and you still get an A. Like,
okay.
You still end up with a 4.0 for the semester. You know
hey, that's what's up.
So I'm like, bet. So this one, I was like, I still did the work, but I was like, I wasn't stressing. I was like, just as long as we get a meets, I'm good. And it's a group project. I was like, we better get at least a meets. But I noticed with the group that a couple of them were like, yo, I hope we get exceeds, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, you must not be doing well. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're looking at that B level right now. So, but yeah, it's been good, man. I'm waiting for spring. Spring starts for me in like 2 weeks. And then after that is done, got one more and then graduate with my master's.
Hey, that's what's up, man. I did hear that about the master's program, and then obviously the doctoral program. It's literally A's, B's, or fail.
Right.
There's no like, oh, let me get a C, just to get a passing grade. Isn't it so funny that like in high school, technically passing is D?
Yeah, depending on where you went to school. Because PG public schools, I think you could get an E and pass, or it was either they had E's or they didn't have F's. I don't know. It was weird. It was always weird to me because we always growing up was A, B, C, D, and F.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people that were getting E's, and I'm like, wait, huh?
But, yeah, I guess that's the privileged side of both of us because we didn't have to end up going to those schools. We ended up going to private school.
Bro, we weren't making it. We weren't making it, yo. We look, I'm so glad I went to private school because if I went to Bladensburg, I wouldn't be in my situation I am right now. You know what I'm saying? Not at all, bro. Nope, not at all.
Oh man. Yes. We got a lot to get into for this week's episode. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson, the sexual assault allegations. There are numerous ones. Get into that.
Is there another word that's greater than numerous?
Bountiful, an abundance.
Like numerous seems small to me, man. Like in relation to him right now.
I'm trying to go biblical here. What did they say about what numbers? Yeah, a multitude. Bountiful.
Jeez.
Man, what's that verse? It has to do with tithing, but pretty much like open the roofs and the room will be full with blessings. For this one, it ain't blessings.
It ain't blessings at all, bro.
Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on with that dude. We're also going to recap the rest of NFL free agency. The NBA. We got to talk about the passing of an NBA great, Elgin Baylor. We also are going to get into the injury bug, the NCAA tournaments that's going on right now. Both men and women's tournament. We'll get into that. Also, our sports free zone, where unfortunately, we got to talk about the failures in Black love, but I think y'all will still enjoy the conversation. I don't like to talk about failures in Black love, but hey,
now let's talk about it, yo.
They were too to pass up.
Definitely, let's talk about that.
Once it's out in the atmosphere, you got to talk about it, and only jokes going to get you through this.
Right.
And then we'll wrap up with Women in Sports Part 4. There's a possibility due to some schedule conflicts. We may be able to interview a special guest. If not, we will just continue the segment with some other women's sports talk. Just want to remind you all to subscribe to the podcast where podcasts are available. That includes Anchor, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn. You can also watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. So there's no reason to say you don't know where to find us. You can listen to us. You can watch us. We're all over the place. Please pass the word on to others. We want to definitely reach more people, have more listeners and fans. We also want to have more people participating with the show. So if you are watching the live stream right now, make sure you chat to us and let us know you're listening, where you're listening from. We'll give you a shout out. All right, BigThad, let's now get to the first story. Let's now get into the NFL. Deshaun Watson.
Bruh.
Started out just last week. We spoke about it, but it wasn't much to speak about at the time.
Not at all.
Exactly a week ago. It was, okay, there is an allegation out there of sexual assault from a young woman, and I'm not trying to downplay the situation. Even one incident is one too many. But now we've gotten to 16. 16 allegations have come out against Deshaun Watson. One of them specifically is a woman who is a massage therapist who claims that Deshaun allegedly reached out to her on Instagram through her DMs, said, I'm looking for a massage, a specific type of massage. She mentioned, well, I'm not really familiar with that type of massage because there's different ones. There's Swedish massages. There's athletic massages. There's what's some other ones, BigThad?
Dog, I didn't know the names, but I know it's like
there are different ones.
Deep tissue massage.
Yes, deep tissue and things like that.
Yeah.
So, she said, I'm not familiar, but I will still be able to come out and do the massage for you. She gets there. He ends up at one point revealing either through the towel or sheets or whatever, I don't know, but through the fabric, let's just say fabric, his penis was erect. He was guiding her down to his inner thighs area, and then even asked for her to perform a sexual act. She claims that she did not do it, but she also claims that she was for sure like stunned. She was able to get out of the situation. She claims that she has text messages basically of him apologizing for the situation. And then as the reports came out from that one, more and more women have come out. They've spoken about very similar things where he would ask for a massage and then want to turn it into, a happy ending. 16 allegations out there. Now, all 16 women.
Supposedly there's more than that.
But there are claims that it's more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just there's 16 allegations when it comes to this civil case.
Right.
Now, this is where things get really, really interesting. And actually, no, we could discuss it now. This is where things get really interesting.
What up?
The attorney who is defending or who is representing all these women lives obviously in Houston. The attorney is a very good friend of the owner of the Houston Texans,
right?
Of the McNair family. Lives within the neighborhood. I believe a season ticket holder, if not just goes to Texans games a lot, but is a good friend of the McNair family. And all 16 women are being represented by him. Deshaun's camp has come out and said that all of these allegations are false and they're waiting for their time to defend themselves. That when you heard about the allegations and now it's gotten to 16, what are your thoughts on the situation?
My first thought was, why is it a civil issue? You know what I'm saying? When it's said that some of these incidents happened as early as last December, there's no statute of limitation in that from that time period, to now. You know what I'm saying? So why had you not went to police first? You know what I'm saying? Made this should be a criminal issue, regardless if allegations are fruitful or not. You know what I'm saying? It still should be a criminal issue and then a civil issue in my mind. So, hearing everything first going on, especially with Deshaun saying, this lawyer, blah, 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 money guy, money hungry, whatever, and that he offered to settle to keep it quiet. Because once it goes into courts in Texas, everything's public information. So, it was more like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're going to tell you. Give us some money. And that was only maybe 6 at that time. That initial was like maybe 6 people. And now, after all this, and now it's going into courts, and it's up to 16 now. Then there was reports that, he had talked to the police about it, and come to find out that technically wasn't true, and that his friend, who happens to be a detective, contacted him like, hey, what is all this you're talking about? You know what I'm saying? So, like, when the police department comes like, no, we have never heard about this. We have never been contacted by the lawyer. Then everything just seems kind of fishy to me. Like, I didn't even know at the time when everything came out that lawyer had any ties to the organization at all. Besides I heard there was some about, I think it was either a player or something with the team, and he was a lobbyist and put up like billboards to get a player to. Oh, it was Johnny.
Johnny Manziel.
I think it was Johnny Manziel.
So
out of college.
Okay, yes, that rings bell.
Yeah,
I know
putting up
sure.
billboards and all that, trying to get him to come to the Texans.
I know also he represented Roger Clemens.
Oh, he's that guy?
Yeah, Busby. Yes, he is the attorney. So I remember the name is familiar. Like he's not a new attorney out there.
Right. But yeah, all this, man. I mean, look, this is the only thing I can say is, regardless of the outcome, Deshaun's getting suspended.
For sure.
Because the NFL don't play. You don't mess with their brand, and you don't put yourself in situations to mess up the brand. And that's what's going on right now. Deshaun literally put himself in a situation, regardless of true or not. Right now, there's got to be some semblance of some kind of truth on some edge, because there's no way 16 people come out and they're all basically saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
I personally,
you definitely put yourself in a situation that the NFL doesn't play with. You know what I'm saying? It's just a situation. If you put yourselves in these types of situations, the NFL will come and say, "Hey, you're not playing. Playing this up."
Yeah, I personally believe at least some of this is factual. And if all 16 end up coming out and it ends up being revealed that all 16 women are correct, I would not be shocked. Right. Like that's where I am with this whole thing. He is going to be suspended. Should he? We got to start asking this question. Should he even be in the league? Let's say it comes out these things, because remember, it still is a civil trial, and maybe that's the issue. Because it's a civil trial, the league can't really ban him, but they could if it was a criminal trial.
Right. I think if it was a criminal trial and all this going on, then they might just ban him for like say like a year or two, maybe, or even longer. Who knows? But I'm just hearing stuff from people like, I can't believe the Texans are doing this to him. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, I don't think the Texans are going that far. You know what I'm saying? I understand why you would say that, because, you know, between the lawyer and the organization, they know each other. You know, organization pretty mad about what's going on with Deshaun not wanting to play. You know, whatever. But to go this far, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's super petty. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too much. You know what I'm saying? That's too much for somebody to go through to make a player look bad to keep the player on your team. You know what I'm
saying? So let's address this. There are some people out there who are saying that it's a coincidence that several weeks after him requesting a trade, that these allegations come out, and that all of these incidents are alleged to have happened pretty recently. Even, I believe, one of the last allegations occurred just 2 weeks ago.
Jeez.
Like March 7th or something like that.
Jeez.
So there's some people who are saying, well, did the league know about this? Did the
team know about this?
I'm sorry, the team. Did the team know about this?
Right. Did they keep it quiet? You know?
Yeah, because obviously he's their star quarterback, but now that he wants out and he's probably going to get out at some point, we're going to make sure you don't go to any team.
Right.
So there are some fans out there who are speculating that. There are also, shockingly, some women out there who, you know, maybe I shouldn't be shocked, because there's still some women who defend Bill Cosby. So maybe that's, there's still some women out there who believe that all this is a farce, and it's just a way to tear down Deshaun Watson. Me personally, I where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
And at the very least, he just doesn't know what consent is.
Right. I mean, well, see, that's the thing. Like when I think it was maybe one of the first two, it was said that he didn't expose himself or he just asked a question or whatever. There's certain things where, you can say he did not see something as wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it was a conversation, like the way the conversation went, he might not have seen it as wrong. But when you go to exposing yourself or asking to perform certain things on said members of a individual, it gets a little it at that point it's not like you don't know it's wrong at all. Like you know, well, you know what, even at that point he might not see that as wrong because he's Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like he probably does it all the time. Like, hey, especially at Clemson. So I'm pretty sure there's a couple girls at Clemson that could come out with stuff too. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Because they now realize that it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, it's crazy, dude.
And that's the thing with Deshaun Watson coming into the league, and up until this situation, he was a stand-up guy.
Yeah, everything you heard about him was stand-up. Everything.
A lot of people, I mean, when people speak about Deshaun Watson, it was the football side and the off the field side.
Right.
Glowing reports. Mm-hmm. So this one is definitely throwing people off. I gotta give a shout out to Aaron from OSS 980. Aaron, they were talking about it on their podcast, so make sure you check it out. The question came up, Ben Roethlisberger had his situation,
right? His
numerous allegations, and even a criminal trial that went to court. Right, his was, that was wild.
Yeah,
and he's still in the league. That was over 10 years ago.
Right.
So Aaron made the point. He said that was pre-Me Too.
Very true.
That is the difference. That's one of the differences.
Right.
And it's one of them being a white quarterback, but Deshaun Watson's a quarterback too that is one of the best in the league. And like we said, a stand-up guy up until this situation. But the big one is we're in the post, or we're in the Me Too era. So there is going to be more solidarity for women in this situation, and rightfully so,
Right.
So that's the thing, man. At the least, he should get 8 games. If it comes out that any of these, like if any of these allegations are true.
The least, yeah. Where did Antonio Brown get?
He got 8 games.
He got 8 games. Yeah. Okay. I would say, yeah. I mean, at a minimum for him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, then again, Antonio Brown did well. Never mind. It's almost the same.
Brown had a very situation.
I had to think about it for a second. Yeah, his was bad, but yeah, this is just as bad. Yeah, at least a minimum 8 games.
Yeah, man, it sucks because I mean, as a fan of Deshaun Watson, you obviously want to see him on the field, but not at this cost.
If you out here doing reckless stuff like this,
yeah, for sure. It's wild. There's obviously going to be more that comes out. We mentioned it's a civil case, so we'll see if any of this ends up being resolved. If any of this ends up becoming a criminal suit where stuff starts becoming public record. And then we also still got to hear from Deshaun Watson's team. All they have said is the allegations are false and we are waiting for our time to defend ourselves, we have to see how all this plays out. Let's now get to NFL free agency. The New York Giants. Ooh. They got a lot of players this week. Kenny Golladay, wide receiver, formerly of the Detroit Lions, is now going to be playing for the New York Giants. They also signed Adoree Jackson to the team. The bolster that secondary. That secondary is now going to have Bradbury, Jackson, Logan Ryan, Jabril Peppers.
On paper, it looks good.
It looks real good.
It looks real good on paper.
Yeah. They also signed Kyle Rudolph, so now they have a second tight end to go along with Evan Ingram. Wow. You know, Roman is probably so happy right now that
even though he don't even know half the stuff he's talking about, but yeah, he's happy. He's happy.
Oh man, they look good. They look good on paper. Now, with all this talent on the offense, you added Kenny Golladay and Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah.
You're going to get Saquon Barkley back.
Is he healthy?
He should be. I mean, it's a knee injury, but knee injuries are...
Yeah.
Everyone tears an ACL at some point.
Right.
Not trying to minimize the situation, but everyone does it at some point.
It's not like the 80s and 90s where you came back from that. Now it's just like it's almost like a break in the arm.
Yeah.
Back. Yeah.
So I don't want to hear any excuses for Daniel Jones this coming season.
Yeah. He kind of regressed last season, but they did get a little bit better last season, which was weird.
The team for sure got better. Simply just got a different head coach.
Yeah.
That's where I think it was. They just got a competent head coach for the team. Other free agency news, we have Patrick Peterson signing with the Minnesota Vikings, the favorite team.
That was so weird to me. I don't know why. Like, out of everybody in the league, I think the last team I thought was going to be the Vikings. But
yeah, I mean, I didn't think he was going to end up leaving Arizona, to be honest. I thought he was going to be one of those Cardinals for life players.
Right.
So that was a little shocking for me. AJ Green talking about the Cardinals.
Yeah.
That wide receiver group is looking really good right now.
Yeah. That's what I told you, man. I told you when JJ said he was going there, I was like, I'm trying to tell you, the way through the Super Bowl is for him as a player for the Super Bowl is out of the West, and Cardinals is the easiest spot.
Perfect.
Yep.
Hey, man.
Just to get there. You know what I'm saying? It's the Cardinals out of the West.
We'll have to come back to this when the NFL season starts. We're going to have to pull the tape to see how correct you are with this. Will Fuller the fifth. Who did he sign with? Was it the Dolphins? I'm going to look that up real quick.
You look that up real quick because I couldn't remember.
Yep, the Dolphins.
Yeah, it was the Dolphins. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The Dolphins. The Dolphins, obviously, that's another good pickup to go with Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, and obviously Tua Tagovailoa. Now, and Kenyon Drake. I know who did he sign? Was it the? I'm gonna look this up real quick. Kenyon Drake.
I can't remember.
The Raiders. So Raiders gonna have Josh Jackson and Kenyon Drake.
That's what I was about to ask you. If it was Josh Jackson, that was the other guy.
Mm-hmm. The Raiders also re-signed Marcus Mariota. Mariota is going to be the backup. And probably the most shocking free agent move that we haven't gotten to yet, Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah. Going to the Buffalo Bills. Why do you think that happened?
They need a backup just in case. Who was their backup last season?
I believe it was like Matt Barkley.
Yeah, so I would definitely have Metro Trubisky. Matt Barkley? Come on,
I
man.
believe it was Matt Barkley.
It's like Todd Collins being back there after all these years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Didn't Todd Collins get y'all to the playoffs one year?
Yeah, but that was only 2 games. He didn't play in the playoff game.
I'm glad. Who played in the playoff game?
He beat y'all, first of all.
Yes, I remember
y'all.
I remember that.
Then it was Cousins that ended up playing in the playoff game.
Nah, Cousins wasn't in the league. Yeah, I looked that up.
With Collins?
Yeah.
Collins, RG3, Rex.
He was no. That was way before RG3.
That's what I'm saying. Todd Collins was still there.
Nah,
Todd Collins was still look. I'll look it up. Go ahead to the other joint.
Hold on. Now you got me real interested to look up when he played. Todd Collins was with the Washington football team, 2006 to 2009.
Oh yeah, this is way off there.
This was the team when
Rex Grossman
was around the Sean Taylor.
Nah.
Yeah, hold on. Let's get on the Wikipedia page. He did play in the playoffs against the Seahawks. You all lost.
Yeah, we always, because every time we made the look, ever since Danny bought this damn team, anytime we've ever played the playoffs until this year, we always play the Seahawks. Always. Always.
He got y'all 4 straight victories. Yeah. It was Bears, Giants, Vikings, and I remember that Vikings game specifically because the Washington football team really needed that game to even have a shot at making the playoffs. And when they won that game, then it was okay, the matchup against the Cowboys. And that was the year I wanted to beat you all just to like knock you all out, but that was the game where Tony Romo, Terrell Owens, Jason Witten didn't even make the trip.
Oh, that's right, because y'all were already in the playoffs.
Yeah, we were we were 13-2 at the time.
Oh, it was Jason Campbell, yo. That's why I don't remember it.
That was Jason
that's
Campbell's
why.
time. That was Jason Campbell's time. But let's talk about your Washington football team real quick before we get out of this segment. You all signed Curtis Samuel,
speedy receiver,
coming back to team up with Scary Terry or McLaurin F1, Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
Look, we spoke about the acquisition of Ryan Fitzpatrick last week. I said, he is a good. I said I just don't see the point of keeping him or signing him if the expectation is we're trying to go further into the playoffs. But now with the acquisition of Curtis Samuel, and did you all acquire someone else? I can't remember who the other person was that you all acquired.
The defensive back or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's making the acquisition of Fitzpatrick look really good.
Yeah. I still think you need more, though.
Making some noise. Where do you think you need more? Which areas?
Offensive line and also wide receiver, of course. But offensively, that's my main thing is offense right now, is getting more pieces to do more. You know what I'm saying? Because, Curtis Samuel on one side, McLaurin on the other, Logan Thomas as your tight end. We still need that other receiver and another receiver or two, because you know how this team is, they get injured. But we need to give Fitzmagic. Yeah, I know you hate that. We need to give Fitzmagic as many options as possible. You know what I'm saying? and decent options. Because right now, I'm looking at 2 speedy receivers on opposite sides just going downfield. So he's going to throw the ball downfield. Like, so everybody's going to know we're going to take chances downfield compared to what we've been doing over the past couple of years. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to need another wide receiver or two. Possibly even another tight end, even though Thomas has been doing, he looked pretty good last season. You know
Logan Thomas he's good. I think he's good. I think he's a good tight end. I didn't think he was going to be good, but he's good.
I didn't think so either, especially being. But then again, I think it's helpful since he used to be a quarterback. So
true,
that might be why.
Yeah, man. Look, the NFC East is not going to be the garbage division it's been the last few years.
No, I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be really competitive, man. I think it's really gonna be competitive this year.
It's going to be competitive. This year, I believe there's 17 games. This is the year where they're starting with 17, correct?
I think so, yeah.
I think there would be 2 teams coming out of this division going to the playoffs. And it's still going to be close. I believe a division winner is probably going to go 11-6, 10-7. Okay. Which that just sounds weird. A 17 game schedule. I don't know. That just sounds weird. These owners are so greedy. Wow. So greedy. Oh, by the way, they just got a monster TV deal again. So more money going to the owners, some trickling down to the playoffs. I mean to the players. And yeah. Still don't have guaranteed contracts for these guys. So yeah. Which is so weird. But last minute news for the Dallas Cowboys, my favorite team. They signed Keanu Neal to be safety.
That's crazy.
I think, look, anyone the Cowboys signed at this point is an upgrade, especially on the defense.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He is. I know he got injured, I think 2 years ago. I can't remember what he did last year. I don't know if he was injured last year. He was playing with the Falcons. They were pretty bad. So I'm not going to act like I looked up what he did last year.
I know you. No, I can't remember what he did last year. I know he's been a decent defensive back for them over the years. So
yeah, he's been decent. And if
pretty high rating on Madden.
So. He does have a high rating on Madden, and that's probably why that's why a lot of people kind of know who he is.
Right.
But I mean, he is okay. So he played games last year. I'm looking at he only missed only one game last year. So at least he was healthy last year. That's all I can ask for the Dallas Cowboys at this point.
Yeah. Play the game. You know what I'm saying?
Can we get someone who he's a starting defensive back in the NFL? So that's good for the Dallas Cowboys.
Now my question is, who's your backup, man? Is it still going to be what's his name, or are we getting somebody, or he getting somebody else?
I mean, we need to get somebody else, but
what's Jerry doing? What's Jerry doing?
We'll get somebody, I hope. But at the moment, it is Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci. All right.
Let's now get to the NBA. Discuss the unfortunate passing of Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. I don't care. I don't care what these new kids have to say about Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor is one of the greatest players of the career with the Los Angeles Lakers. Was on numerous all NBA teams. I believe he averaged 1 year, I think it was like 36 points a game while he was on military duty.
That's wild. That's wild, right there.
He had to do, he had his military duties Monday through Thursday, and then would play games that were on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And the Lakers had to schedule a lot of their games on the weekends just to try and get him in. And I believe he ultimately played like 45 of the 82 games or 50 of the 82 games because of this schedule. Not only that, he played alongside Jerry West, went to numerous NBA finals. Now, a lot of people, this is what they say, he never won the NBA finals. He the year he left, because he left in the middle of the season or at the beginning of the season, the Lakers then go on a 33-game winning streak and ultimately win the NBA finals. People bring that up. And then a lot of people bring up the situation where he was the general manager of the Los Angeles Clippers. And if anyone knows the doings of the Los Angeles Clippers, I cannot blame Elgin Baylor for the failures.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. It's the Clippers. It's the Clippers.
Donald Sterling is one of the worst, probably the worst professional sports owners in America. And he had to deal with him.
And that was even before his little racist antics.
Exactly.
That was even before that. So, yeah.
But a lot of people, when you hear Elgin Baylor, they think about the Clippers days. Well, no, he was a Los Angeles Laker great. One of the best small forwards in the game. A lot of NBA historians and players who played against him said he was the original above the rim guy in the NBA.
Yeah.
In an era where you were only above the rim if you were close to 7 feet tall.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Also, do you know where Elgin Baylor's from?
No.
Washington, D.C.
Where'd he go? To Cardozo?
I believe spin guard.
Oh, okay. Close enough, I guess.
I believe it was spin guard.
That's what's
Let me look that up real quick. I'm gonna go on his wiki page because they should have it.
Of course, wiki should definitely have it. That's for sure.
Yeah, he went to spin guard.
Oh, he went to spin guard. Okay.
Yep. Is spin guard even open anymore? Side note. No, it's not.
No, that's close.
Yeah.
I've seen some actually seen some like YouTube documentary of these gentrifiers that like they were videotaping in the school. They were in the school and you just see like all the leftover like desk and stuff, books and all that. It was wild, dude, just watching it and watching it, how everything was just deteriorating in there. Like there was usable equipment that could have been moved to another school, you know what I'm saying, once it closed, and you just see all that stuff in there. Like stuff was still working. It was crazy, dude. Like what? I think it was Spin Garn, but it was definitely either Spin Garn or one of those other DC high schools that just shut down.
Wow, that's wild, man. That's wild. Anyways, Elgin Baylor unfortunately passed away at the age of 86. Elgin Baylor, in my opinion, is a top 15 NBA player off the top of my head. What do you have to say about that statement?
Nah, I like it. I definitely like that. Definitely. Yeah, top 15. I thought you were going to say top 50. I was like, hey, he's already there.
Well, yeah, he's already there. He's part of the 50 greatest NBA players of all time.
Yeah, I would say 15. Yeah, definitely top 15.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I just want more of the younger. When I say younger, I'm talking about people my age also, but more of the young go back and see what Elgin Baylor did in the NBA and the stats he put up, the amount of all NBA teams he was part of, the all-star teams, and his impact on the game. I mean, Elgin Baylor was Elgin Baylor and came Dr. J and Davidson and then Michael Jordan. Those are the guys that came after Elgin Baylor. Elgin Baylor, his career high is, what was his career? 71, I believe, 71. And his career high in the playoffs was 61.
Mm.
Yeah. Only to be beat out when it comes to the playoffs. Michael Jordan, 63 against the Boston Celtics. and then Kareem's 100 in the regular season and Kobe Bryant's 81 in the regular season. Ridiculously good. So rest in peace to Elgin Baylor. Got some other unfortunate news in the NBA. LaMelo Ball injured.
It's not really
fractured wrist. Looks like he's going to be done for the rest of the regular season.
Mm.
Can LaMelo Ball, with the resume that he's already had, keep a hold of the Rookie of the Year award?
Yeah. Unless one of the other rookies like just ridiculously balls out and goes to the playoffs or something like that. But right now he's holding it. He's holding it hard even without playing.
So let me look at the schedule for. Let's look and see. Charlotte Hornets. I don't know how many games they've played already. They've played 42 games. 30 games left. I think he could remain the Rookie of the Year front runner, but Anthony Edwards is starting to heat up. Like, his game is starting to get more consistent. And I think Anthony Edwards is the only guy, I believe, that could possibly catch up in the Rookie of the Year race. Now let's talk about the Charlotte Hornets, though.
Right.
Do you think they can make the playoffs without LaMelo Ball?
Where are they at right now?
In the East, I would have to. Here's the standings. In the East, they're fifth. The eighth place is. There's pretty much a tie. Ooh, eighth place. They're half a game out of eighth place.
As the fifth seed right now.
Yes.
They're half a game. Jeez. That's how bad the East is this year?
I don't think it's it's not that it's bad in my opinion. It's just okay. So 76ers are 31-13. The Nets are 30-14, so they're just a game behind. The Bucks are 28-14, so they're 2 games behind.
Right.
The 76ers. Fourth is 8.5 games behind the 76ers, which is the Hawks.
Okay.
Who, mind you, went on like an 8-game winning streak.
Right.
And then the Hornets, they're in the fifth place with 9 games behind. Heat at 6, 9 games behind. Knicks 7th, 9 games behind. Celtics 8 with 9.5 games behind. Then let's remember there's play-ins. So 9th is the Bulls. They're 11 games behind. Pacers are 10th, 11 games behind.
They might. I mean, Charlotte's not a terrible team. I mean, they have good players, so they might be able to still make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I think they should. With what they have on paper, I think they could still make the playoffs.
Hey, it's going to be a tougher journey. Now, the backup, is it Dwayne Bacon, I believe, is the backup? Is that the backup?
I don't know. I don't follow the Charlotte Hornets.
I think it's Dwayne, or let me look at the roster.
I mean, Jordan's the owner. That's about as far as I go with them. Do they still have Scary Terry?
Sure.
Still have
yeah, for sure he has to step up. Devontae Graham. That's who I meant to say. Dwayne Bacon may not even be on the team anymore.
Dwayne Bacon.
I know at one point he was on the team. I believe he was on the team. I don't know. Let me look up Dwayne Bacon and see if he is still in the league. He played for Charlotte at some point. He's with the Orlando Magic. That's what it is.
Okay. I thought you were thinking of Dwayne Wayne from a different world.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, Dwayne Wayne.
Oh man, your boy, BigThad. We got to talk about your friend. You're a big fan of him. Your friend, big fan of Draymond Green.
You are fake
Come
news.
on, man. That dude.
Draymond Green is in the news again because he said he said, I am the best defensive player of all time in the NBA. Tony Allen then chimed in and said pretty much like, nah, you're not. That Draymond Green retorted with, well, on offense, I mean, you're the reason why we pretty much won because we left you wide open in the postseason.
Wow.
So, so they had a little back and forth, but let's get to the actual comments, the actual point. Draymond Green. Let's like a lie detector, we have to figure out what's fact and what's a lie before we actually do the lie detector test.
Right.
So let's get some facts out of the way. Is Draymond Green a good defensive player to you?
Yeah. I wouldn't say top 5 or anything like that, but yeah. He's a good defender.
Is he a good defender? One of the best defenders of this time, this era?
Of this era?
Yes.
I guess, yeah.
Yes.
Of this era.
Oh, you're funny.
I don't of this era. Now, if you had went back, I would say even back 10 years, nah, he's nowhere near the best.
Oh man. All right. So at least we got that out of the way.
Of this era, these soft dudes, yeah.
Obviously, he's one defensive player either once or twice already, but for sure once. I think he's a good defender. I think sometimes it's a bit overstated how good he is at defense.
Facts, big facts.
I think he's a very good team defender.
Yeah.
Like he is going to make your team better as a defender. But if you're telling me one-on-one,
no, on the ball defender? No, not at all. Not at all. No.
He's an okay on the ball defender.
Right.
Yeah, he's not strapping guys who are just as good as him or better.
Yeah, no. He ain't locking down nobody.
And to be the best, if your claim is you are the best of all time, then you got to lock up NBA greats. And I don't think he personally is someone to do that.
Nah.
In my opinion.
No.
Yeah. He said he's the best. Obviously, I don't agree with him. I think Tony Allen was a better defender than he was, and that was someone who played while he played.
Yeah.
I believe let's just go back to like some of the old school guys like Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman,
Dikembe.
Who else can you think of? Joe Dumars, Dikembe Mutombo. You know,
I'd even put Isaiah Thomas in there. Isaiah, what's his name?
I put Sidney Moncrief.
The glove.
Oh, Gary Payton. Jeez, how do we forget this? Gary Payton. John Stockton is a better defender. And mind you, they're guards, but
it don't matter. You saying you're the best defensive player of all time. It don't matter if you're a guard or not. You
David Robinson.
Oh, yeah. I even think Tim Duncan's a better defensive player than he is. Crazy.
Oh, man. So, yeah. So, it's...
He done lost his ever-loving mind, though. He's lost his mind. He's that clickbaiter. That's what he is. You know what I'm saying? He's that clickbaiter. That's Draymond right there. Like Draymond wouldn't have rings right now if he never played for Golden State.
Yeah, but
like real talk. I think his defensive player of the year thing happened a lot because of the success that they were having in Golden State. But since they've been losing, you ain't never heard nothing about him
in the conversation for defensive player. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and obviously it came out yesterday that he said that, and then last night he was getting cooked by Tobias Harris. Last night, it's so. Of course, the people who hate him are just like, look, you get cooked by Tobias. Someone named Tobias in there. Like, come on, like you can't say you're the best defensive player of all time. I know it's one game, but geez, you got to at least for this week, you got to at least look good this week for people to get the comments.
the next day, you get taken care of. You know what I'm saying? The next day, he lost his mind. That's what it is. He don't got nothing else to do. He's still doing the triple single. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he got something to say. He has to have something to say to get him off of his play and how bad the team is. That's all it is.
Sticking with the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr did an interview. I can't remember with who, but did an interview, and he was asked about the 2018-19 season, which was the season where they lost eventually in the NBA Finals to the Toronto Raptors.
Right.
He mentioned that he actually enjoyed the 1920 season, which resulted in
the worst record
not having Clay.
Yeah.
Curry goes down with the injury, and they are the second worst team in the league. He said he enjoyed coaching that season more than the season where they eventually lost in the NBA Finals. Let's remember that KD was on that team and got injured, had the first injury in the postseason, and then the major injury in the NBA Finals. Some people said, oh my goodness, how can Steve Kerr say something like that? Like, he's obviously trolling or he's lying. Do you think Steve Kerr is being like honest though when he says that?
Yeah, he's being honest. He's being really honest. He even spoke on it again. So it's just clickbaiters that went after him because of what he said and they want to throw even more. Try to say it was a shot at KD or something like that. Come on, man.
And when you look at the quote, there's no reference to any player.
Yeah.
He just was like, yo, I didn't really, if I had to choose between the two seasons when it comes to enjoying the season, I enjoyed the season where we were the second worst team in the NBA.
Yeah, he had to teach. He had young guys he had to teach to play the game. So,
and I think that's what it is. I don't think people understand how exhausting it is to deal with what they dealt with that season, where KD was 1 foot in, 1 foot out that year. You remember that?
Yeah. I remember that.
1 foot in, 1 foot out, and the issue with Draymond Green and all of that. That was a problem. But yeah, man, Warriors still in the news. KD, so I can't. Whoever reported it, stated what Kerr said in the interview on Twitter. KD replied with hilarious LOL. Do you think? Why do you think KD said that?
Because he knows Kerr didn't say it the way how people are taking it. He know that wasn't Kerr. You know what I'm saying? He knew it wasn't Kerr. So that's all that is.
Other NBA news: the Los Angeles Lakers, favorite team of Matthew White, our co-host, they're out. LeBron James is out with the injury. High ankle sprain, 6 to 8 weeks. Thad, let's go through this schedule real quick. Now, since his injury, he got injured during the Hawks game on Saturday night. Or Saturday. So they lost to the Hawks. The next night lost to the Suns. Then last night lost to the Pelicans. Let's go through.
They looked bad against the Pelicans last night.
Let's go through the next, because let's say we got to go. Let's go to games all the way May 3rd.
Okay.
Because a month from now it's going to be April 24th.
Right.
They said 4 to 6 weeks. Let's go to May 3rd. Yeah, you got some paper with you, or you writing something down?
No, I got you. Well,
okay. They play the 76ers tomorrow night in LA. Who's winning that game?
Ooh.
Remember, 76ers do not have Embiid. They did beat the Warriors last night, though.
I give the 76ers a win on that one.
All right. At home against the Cavaliers.
They should beat the Cavs.
At home against the Magic.
They should win that one.
At home against the Bucks.
Loss.
On the road against the Kings.
It's a tough one. Because they lost the Kings before.
They did, but players were out. Not even with injury. Players were out at that time. But
yeah, they were just out. It was a close game too. But you know what? I will do the Kings as that game as a win.
All right. Then Clippers, which is pretty much a home game for both teams.
Yeah, that's a loss.
On the road against the Raptors in Florida.
I'm gonna call that a loss too, even though the Raptors have been playing terrible.
They've been bad. On the road against the Heat.
Heat on the road, that should be a loss.
On the road against the Nets.
Loss.
On the road against the Knicks.
Knicks, I'll do win on that one, even though the Knicks have been balling.
On the road against the Hornets.
You know what? I'm gonna take that as a loss too.
On the road, at home against the Celtics.
Ooh. Loss.
And then back-to-back games at home against the Jazz.
Loss. So 2 losses?
So 2 losses. Okay. Add those 2 losses.
You know what? Give me a split on that one.
Okay, split. All right. So add the split. Yeah. On the road against the Mavericks, back-to-back. So two road games against the Mavericks.
All right. Split that one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On the road against the Magic.
That should be a win.
On the road against the Wizards.
Ooh. That should be a loss. It should be a loss.
At home against the Kings.
Win.
At home against the Raptors.
I'll give them a win on that one.
At home against the Nuggets.
Nuggets, loss.
What's the record, BigThad?
I
can tell you it's probably a lot of losses.
Yeah, I got 12 losses. 1, 2, 3, 9 wins.
9 and 12.
9 and 12.
In 21 games.
Yeah.
Ranging from now to May 3rd. Woo.
Yeah.
And they're like 4th right now, I think, in the West.
Yeah.
It's going to get real dicey for that team.
Now, the question is with me is who are they playing as their starting 5 is my question.
Starting 5 right now is Dennis Schroeder, KCP. I guess the 3 now. I don't think Caruso starts. I don't think Caruso. Let me look and see what their starters were at least for last night.
Schroeder, KCP. I would assume Kuzma.
Starters last night was Schroeder,
Uh-huh.
Caldwell Pope, Kuzma, Markeith Morris, and Dave Kakuk or Kakuk. I don't know.
Why is he? Who is he?
Because what's his name is injured too. Gasol is injured also.
Oh, jeez. Yo, they just need to go get what's his name now?
Andre Drummond.
Yeah, they need to get him now.
So should they make the trade, or should they
make the trade, or give extra money for them to buy him out? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, find a way that he doesn't go to release to go anywhere else but the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Because I was going to ask you this randomly, if you thought that the starting lineup would be AD, Drummond, LeBron, Schroeder, and then whoever else.
KCP.
Maybe, yeah. If that's starting five, would that be your starting five if that was the case?
Yeah, I think that's a very good starting five. I think so, and it's a team that could then really compete with the with even the Nets.
Right.
In my opinion, they could compete with the Nets. You know, I don't care what all the stuff that the Nets have, man. Oh man, the Wizards they annoy me. The Wizards annoy me. They lost against the Kings, and backed it up with a win against the Jazz, the best team in the NBA.
Right.
And then losses against the Nets. And now the Knicks got blown out last night. They play the Knicks again tomorrow night. They are 1-7 since the All-Star break.
But they were 1-10. They won like 10 in a row or 9 in a row before the All-Star break. That makes no sense to me.
They annoy me.
Man.
Now I'll wrap it up here for our NBA segment. Let's now quickly get to the NCAA tournament. BigThad, who are the 16 teams in the tournament that are left in the men's side?
Man,
I believe it's because y'all know me. I haven't been watching this tournament. So
no, it's good. It's good because
how about this? Let me guess some of the teams.
Okay.
Michigan is still in it.
Yes, Michigan is still in it.
Gonzaga is still in it.
Yes.
Because of all the hype, I know Oral Roberts is in it.
Yep.
I know Loyola Chicago is in it still.
Yep.
I believe Oregon State is still in it because they shocked Oklahoma State.
Right.
So I have 5.
Okay.
Alabama is in it because they beat Maryland, I know.
Correct.
So I have 6 teams. Let me think some of these teams through real quick. UCLA's in it because everyone made a big deal of them getting it. So I have 7.
Correct. Since you know UCLA, you should know the other 2.
I don't know who they're playing.
Out of that side. No, I'm saying out of that side of the country.
Yeah. Is
you just said UCLA, so who's the other one?
USC's in it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they were in the
tournament. they had some good players, man. They had some really good players.
I didn't even know they were in the tournament. So USC's in it. So I have 8 right there.
Right.
I'm gonna try and guess some more. Oh, geez.
You already said
Oh, no, Kansas lost, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost.
I was just saying they lost. Is Oklahoma in it, or did they even make the tournament?
No, Oklahoma's out.
All right, so I have 2 strikes.
Right.
I already got 2 wrong. Syracuse is still in it.
Syracuse is still in it.
9 of those teams. I know Villanova's not in it, so they're not in it. Oh, so they are in the tournament. All right, so I got 9 of the teams. Who are the 7 teams that I missed out on?
All right, Creighton.
Okay. That's coached by the racist dude. Oh, he resigned, but yeah.
Is that him?
McDermott's father. Yeah, that was the one that come on, you got to stay on the plantation.
Yeah.
Stick together and stay on the plantation.
Oh Lord. Oregon.
Oregon, okay.
Florida State,
Florida State, okay.
Baylor, who's number one
How
seed.
did I forget Baylor?
Well, I forgot Baylor when I was talking about the number one seeds, and I said
Yeah,
it
that's
was.
what I said. How did I forget?
I said it was Iowa, but it was actually Baylor who was that other one, number one seed. Iowa was actually a number 2 seed. Other ones that you missed was Arkansas.
Ooh,
they're number 3 seed, and then lastly is Houston, who's the number 2 seed.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this women's tournament, though.
Mm-hmm.
Video came out from an Oregon women's player where she was showing the disparities between the weights that the women had and obviously the entire gym complex that the men had at their tournament. The women had literally one weight rack that you have like in hotel gyms.
Dog, I don't even know if that was. I don't even know if they have that in hotel gyms, man. That looks like the rack that people have at home, dumbbell rack that they didn't have enough money to get a good dumbbell rack, so they got that. It looked ridiculous, man.
It's like the ones that you have in your hotel rooms. Like that's what it was. Yeah. And the excuse was we didn't have space, according to the NCAA. Well,
but they showed the space that was in that video with the. Oh my god! I was like, hold up. They were like, we don't have space, but look at the space. I'm like, wow. But did you hear they said that that was only for the first round or two of the tournament, and that they were going to get the full stuff in the Sweet 16? I'm like, what sense does that make? That makes no sense at all.
You want the large gym for all 68 teams that are going to be there, or 64 for the women.
Like, dog, I know community colleges that had better weights than what they gave them girls, man. That's crazy.
I mean, I have better weights and I don't even work out. Just in the house. Just there as a decoration. Like,
wow.
Not only that, the food they were given was the packaged food was not good. The swag bags were not good. And then they compared it to the men, where the men had an abundance of things. The men actually had, I'm gonna say, better food. It didn't look good, but better food than the women. So I give them that.
Right.
Something that I learned this week listening to the Bomani Jones podcast. Did you know that the women's programs do not get revenue from the NCAA tournament like the men?
I assume so.
Revenue, they don't. So, for example, they let's say they win a tournament game, won the first round. There's a certain amount of money for winning the first round game that the University of Maryland gets.
Right. Gotcha.
Let's look at the women's side. University of Maryland women's, which are better than the men.
Right, for sure.
They're going to the Sweet 16, or no, they play tonight, right?
No, they're going to the Sweet 16.
Oh, so they're going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, they played earlier. They won.
They played earlier today. Okay.
They beat Alabama.
Oh, wow, that's right.
Yeah.
The women's team does not get paid for winning games.
That's wild, yeah.
So yeah. And then also, it's not like, okay, so the NCAA tournament, the men's side for the NCAA makes close to $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
The women's game isn't that far off when you look at the number. It's not that far off.
And you know what? This is actually like part of my argument in regards to the WNBA when I was talking to you before, and not on the podcast, but before in person. But I knew, I had a feeling they weren't getting any revenue, because when you see the announcement of the tournament, the NCAA tournament, they say men's, they don't say women's. In the grand brand of it, they literally still say the NCAA men's basketball tournament. They don't say men's and women's. Like, it's almost kind of like if you didn't know nothing about sports or whatever, you would honestly think that there was no women's tournament at all. You know what I'm saying? So that makes perfect sense that they don't get any revenue because they don't even really consider them as a tournament.
Ridiculous. So the basically what the NCAA tried to say was not the NCAA, the people who were supporting the NCAA actually doing this to the women. They were like, well, the women don't make any money and blah, blah, blah. That's why, they didn't get the services or the amenities that the men got. And these are the same people who typically say that college players should not be getting paid. And I'm like, well, hold on. I thought everything in the NCAA is a general pool that they're using from.
Right.
Supply for every other sport in the governing body. Why is it now? Oh, well, based on your funds, we can only give you this. So which one is it? Is it that we?
Right.
Because if it comes down to money, then why don't the bulk of the football money stay with the football teams?
Right.
Or the bulk of the basketball money stays with the basketball teams, which are literally at most schools the revenue generating sports.
Right.
There's some schools where baseball is a revenue generating sport. There's some schools where hockey is, but on the most part, NCAA Division I revenue generating sports will always be football and will always be basketball on both the men's and women's side. So I'm kind of like, why they got to share the money now with the other sports? So you're seeing you're seeing the flaw in the logic.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But they're the same ones. They're the same ones that'll say that the WNBA should be making the same amount of money as the NBA men. Those are the same folks. Those are the same.
All confusing. And yes, I believe WNBA players should be getting paid more, but
right. But there's so much other stuff involved.
Yes,
for them to be at where they're at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if they didn't sign that CBA, they wouldn't be getting the money that they're getting right now because they didn't sign the CBA. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's so many other factors involved, along with, inequality between men and women and in sports and all that. But you got to think about there's other factors also involved, especially with these players. A lot of these players, especially WNBA, prior to this last CBA, they accepted what they accepted. You know what I'm saying? They made that decision. Yeah, we're going to do this CBA or whatever, or this or this. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not just solely on the inequality between men and women in sports. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? But it also the other thing is WNBA plays in the summertime. I think that's a big problem.
We will discuss that with our guest, Carita Parks, who will be with us shortly.
Word.
But yeah, I told you I wanted to discuss that, and we'll discuss it with her. Who do you think is going to advance when it comes to the men's side? Who do you think is going to advance to the Final Four, BigThad?
Men's side? Ooh, man. Hold on, I'm gonna look at the bracket again real quick. Men's side advancing out of the
to the Final Four.
Oh, all the way to the Final Four. Jeez, come on, man.
Yeah, who will be the 4 teams in the Final
Gonzaga.
Four?
I would say Gonzaga. I want to say Oral Roberts. I really want to say Oral Roberts. But I don't think they get through a Baylor or Villanova. Yeah, because they say they win their next one, they play Baylor or Villanova. So I would say, so I already said Gonzaga. I really want to say Michigan. I want to say Michigan. For the weird upset, I'll say Villanova. And then I haven't seen Houston play all season. I'll say Houston. So Gonzaga, Michigan, Villanova, Houston. Now, I could go wrong. It could end up being Loyola Chicago again.
Oh man, hold on. Jeez, yeah, this is why I hate ESPN's app. They're terrible. Anyways, I think. Where's the bracket?
Just hit bracket,
man.
It literally says scores, news, and bracket. Just hit bracket at the top of the screen.
I don't see that.
Are you using the app?
Yeah, I'm using the app.
Did you go to NCAA men's and just go to NCAA basketball?
Click more. I did that. Hold on.
You did that?
Yeah, the tournament. Boom.
It literally has the drop down arrow that says NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I got that.
Make sure you're not looking at the NIT.
Right? Yeah. I got the NCAA tournament.
So you have scores. It should say scores, news, and bracket at the top above the dates.
So right, I don't see that. Anyways, I think Gonzaga's gonna get there. Michigan's gonna get there. I think Baylor's gonna get there. Hold on, they're in different regions, right?
Yeah, you're right so far. You're good so far.
And then, because Gonzaga's in the West, correct?
Yeah, Gonzaga's in the West.
Okay,
they're in the West.
Okay, because I know sometimes they put some of these teams in different regions, but they're in the West.
Michigan's in the East.
In the East, okay.
Yeah. You said Baylor, right?
Baylor, they're in the South.
Right, correct.
All right, Midwest. That's the region I gotta think of.
Yeah. You want me to give you those teams?
Hold on. Midwest is going to give me those teams.
Loyola Chicago, Oregon State, Syracuse, and Houston.
I'm going with Houston.
Okay.
That's what I think. I'll go with Houston. Yep. That'll wrap it up here for our brief NCAA talk. Let's now get into our Champ and Chump of the week. Yeah. Every week we celebrate those that do well and we criticize those that do not. BigThad, who's your Champ of the week?
Champ of the week?
Yep.
All right, it's going to be Oral Roberts and Loyola Chicago men's basketball teams, man. Wow.
I hear you. I did not hear you, so just recap your Champ of the week.
Oh, Oral Roberts and Loyola Chicago men's basketball teams.
Okay, all right.
Baby, want a champ.
They are your Champ of the week.
Whew. They're just doing their thing in the tournament, man.
Yeah, Oral Roberts is probably the furthest. I mean, it's definitely the furthest they've ever gotten to now. Oral Roberts, they're usually that school where it's like, oh yeah, we got an automatic win when we play them.
Right.
And they definitely made it through. So shout out to them. My Champ of the week goes to the New York Giants.
Baby, want a champ.
It pains me to give them Champ of the week, but they did a really good job in free agency so far. NFC East is going to be extremely exciting. BigThad, let's get to your Chump of the week.
Chump of the week is the city of Houston. Well, the sports teams of the city of Houston.
Because you're a chump.
Oh man, let them know why they're the Chump of the week.
Well, besides everything that's going on with Deshaun Watson, they literally had the chance to just trade him away when he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? They had the chance and get an abundance of assets right for him. You know what I'm saying? But they said, nah, now you're dealing with all what's going on with him now. And then also the Houston Rockets lost 20 straight before last night. 20 straight. Guess that John Wall trade didn't work out too well for him.
Oh, you disrespectful.
Just saying. Just saying.
You're disrespectful. Oh man, you remember there was a whole bunch of Wizards fans talking about Russell Westbrook. Now, mind you, don't get me wrong. I just criticized the Wizards for the way they're playing too, but
Right.
I'm just like, yo. I mean, and by the way, we can't blame John Wall, but
You can't blame him for leaving. But then again, like this was supposed to be a better situation for you, and doesn't look that well at all.
and you can't tell me it's because of Christian Wood being out for 15
Or
games.
PJ Tucker being traded. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Oh, that's the
You literally had a solid team, and y'all lost 20 straight.
Side note, what's happening with your boy Victor Oladipo?
I don't know, man. That's because he turned that. Well, see, look, he turned down the extension because they could only offer him 2 years. I think it was 2 years, $45 million.
Yeah.
All right. Which was low for him.
You think so?
Yeah, it's low for him. It's definitely low. I mean, that's why he got traded from Indianapolis, from the Pacers, because they knew they would have had to pay him that money to keep him. Like, yeah, that two year 45. He already was making 45. Why would you give him another contract for 2 years 45?
I guess. I'm just more kind of like, man, after the injury, I'm like, ooh, I don't know what's going on. And since he's been back from the injury, I haven't really seen he's like he hasn't bounced back to his form yet. So that was part of the reason why I was just like,
he's been doing all right. You know, so he's doing like honestly better than I thought, you know, coming off of that injury. But yeah, so right now is the point that either you trade him or end of the season, he's free agent to go wherever he wants.
My chump of the week has to go to the NCAA.
Because you're a chump.
Like the way they're treating the women basketball players and the entire women's tournament and how that was handled, that was ridiculous. And then the excuses, and then Mark Emmert talking about he didn't know this was going on and he was going to fix this. It is ridiculous. So
you could tell the difference. You could tell the difference though, because you know Mark Emmert, the men's side is his baby, but the women's side has their own like Mark Emmert, but that person is under Mark Emmert. So there could be a side of it. He's like, yeah, I didn't know this was happening. You know what I'm saying? But then again, it's like, yo, if you don't know what's happening, that means all these programs that you go after these coaches for not knowing what's going on in their program, you got to do that to yourself.
Oh, man. Mark Emmert and the NCAA, you all are the chump of the week.
Because you're a chump.
We have a guest building, Carita Parks. Let's welcome Carita to the show. Actually, I got to hit the button. Jeez, that's on me. I hit it a couple times. There we go.
Hello.
Let's welcome Carita Parks. Carita, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing very well. Cannot complain. Thanks for bearing with me. Life happened, so jumping on in the car, but I'm glad to be here.
Oh, no problem. We're glad that you were still able to make it because, like you said, life happens, and we're so glad to make it. This is your first time on the podcast, so introduce yourself. Where are you from? Your favorite sports? Go ahead.
Well, I'm Carita Parks. I am the owner and founder of Double Take Sports. I'm also a credentialed reporter for the Washington football team, the Wizards, as well as the Mystics. I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
I've been in the DMV for approximately 10 years now, so definitely feels like home at this point. And favorite sports, I would definitely say football and basketball are my top two.
All right.
I used to run track and field, so that has like a very special place in my heart. It's just, track and field has changed over the years.
All right. Now, what how did your interest to get into the sports industry start? Like where did that come from?
Well, a lot of people, some people know, some people don't know. My background is really in public relations. That's what I went to school for. And I always had an interest in sports and I wanted to do more of sports PR. And so I went down that path. And my first job out of college was at the First Tee, which is a youth golf organization. It's a national organization, really great experience. But then my path just ended up taking me, my professional path just ended up taking me down the road of jobs that were not necessarily in sports, but still in communications and PR, which was my main background. So I decided, okay, I'm going to start my own business where I can focus on my passion for sports. And that was Parks PR. And so I started working with Super Bowl. I did some work with them, the NFL draft, Penny Hardaway, his radio show. And then I just met a lot of people along the way. And one of my clients ended up having her own online sports blog. And through that experience, I actually did a Super Bowl on the PR side with that particular company. But I got to see how the reporters worked and how they interacted. And I was really interested in kind of taking that realm because in PR, you do a lot of writing. And before I got into PR, I actually wanted to do broadcast journalism. So it was almost like an opportunity for my worlds to come together. And so I started writing for that online sports blog. My first assignment actually was the NFL draft in Chicago. And from there, things just fell in place. And I was really good working with the athletes, talking to the athletes. And I think just having that PR perspective and also just knowing sports, I was able to relate to the athletes. And so here I am now with my own sports company and, like I said, covering multiple teams.
Yes. We have Carita Parks of Parks PR, credentialed journalist, reporter for the Washington Wizards, Washington football team. Also, this is Women's Month, so that is a big reason why we asked you to come on the podcast. When it comes to women within the industry, what are some of the obstacles that have occurred in your profession?
I would say just in the profession, by the nature of being women in this industry, you always have to work extra hard to ensure that you're being overly professional, right? Like men can have these strong takes and no one will say that they're wrong. A woman can have a strong take and we're wrong. We don't know what we're talking about. So it's like we have to work extra hard to be professional, extra hard to make sure that we do know what we're talking about. And 90% and 100%, but I'll say like 90% of the time, we do know what we're talking about.
Right.
So just having to consistently fight that battle, you're always held at a higher standard as a woman in this industry. And then I haven't had this experience, but you see a lot of women in this industry dealing with sexual harassment of some type. In some way, shape, or form. So that's something that men don't typically have to think about when in this industry. So women we have different layers that we have to consider and that we have to think about. And we just always have to, in my opinion, work extra hard.
Is there anyone in the industry as a woman or a man that has helped you along the way to get to where you are?
Yeah, I have a couple of people who have been mentors to me along the way. Who work at organizations like ESPN or some who also have their own platforms like I do. And they have really helped me along the way, introduced me to some of the right people, helped me improve my writing skills, helped me improve my interview skills. And so I think that in any industry that you're in, like it's definitely important to have mentors and people that you can look to so that you can get better.
Now, I've seen you reporting from numerous Super Bowls now. How many Super Bowls have you been a credentialed member for?
Ooh, okay, let's see. Houston, Atlanta, New York, Phoenix, Miami. So it's about five Super Bowls. Okay. Six, since I forgot about Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel very fortunate to have those opportunities, and there's nothing like that experience.
Super Bowl media night. It's now media night. It used to be media day. You probably even remember when it was media day.
I
It was
do.
done during the day. Explain to the listeners and viewers how crazy that event is as a media member.
Oh my, it's bananas. My first media night, so I had been to a media day in Phoenix, but then when they transitioned to, I want to say Houston, they turned it into media night. My first media night was crazy. Like being on the floor, reporters can be sharks. Okay. So at first it can be a little intimidating, and then you have to snap out of it and be like, okay, I have to be a shark too, and just figure out a process to navigate the room. But it's a lot of reporters, and it's like a free for all almost, because those players are only there for maybe almost an hour. So you have to try to hit as many players as you can, and it's the whole team. So on the podium, you have, usually the like Tom Brady's, the major names and the major players and the coaches. But on the floor are a lot of guys who are also a part of the team who are not on podiums. So you kind of have to sift through that crowd and try to find them and identify them. And they have on like usually like track suits. But sometimes, if you can't recognize the face right off the bat, and sometimes you don't, because not all those players are like starters. So it definitely requires a lot of strategy, and you cannot be intimidated, because it's definitely a very intimidating experience with all those reporters on the floor. But you have to just know, hey, I'm just as important as everybody else. I have questions and I'm here to get it done. And that's pretty much the mindset that you have to have.
What is one tactic that works in that situation that you've learned along the way that is like, you know what, I do this, it's gonna be successful?
Honestly, so you have so many people, like depending on the players, that are like in front of these players. I really found a way to like navigate to the front. I'm not gonna tell everybody that secret, because then everybody's
Okay.
okay. But I found a way to navigate to the front, and if you can be in the front and like, because you can grab their attention that way, and you also have to have a good question. Like, don't be in the front, ask them a question that's just not good. I mean, they'll answer it, but you can see the respect in their face when you ask them something that they respect, or a question that they like. But I try to navigate to the front. I don't really like to be in the back, because I can ask a question from back there, but they're not going to really see you, or they're not going to pay you attention. So you got to really kind of get in the front, and that's really been my tactic is like work my way to the front, even if I'm not in the very front. Be close enough where they can see you and make eye contact with you, and that typically works.
Off air, I'm gonna ask you that tactic. So when it's
right,
my
off
turn,
air, I can't tell everybody, because next thing you know, everybody listening to this podcast will be up in the front.
Oh man! Now, before we move on to the next topic, what was your favorite interview of an athlete or a coach or anyone within sports? What was your favorite interview?
Gosh, I feel like I have a couple of those. I had an opportunity to talk to Richard Sherman. That was really good. He's exactly like he seems on TV, like rolls to the beat of his own drum. John Wall, Washington Wizards, that was a really good one. I had a one-on-one with him. Let's see. Oh, Jamel Hill. I also had a one-on-one with Jamel Hill. Like, that was cool. So those are some of my favorites, like right off the top of my head. I feel like I've had a lot of favorite interviews, but like those are the ones that kind of like pop up to the top of my head.
Before we get to discussing a little bit of sports of the teams that you cover, let's get to the podcast that you are part of. Let the listeners and viewers know what the name of the podcast is, who is part of the podcast, and what are some of the topics you all discuss.
Yeah, so the podcast is called the Triple W Podcast, pronounced Triple Dub, and it is me and 3 other Mystics and Wizards reporters. So we all cover the NBA, and we became pretty close, mostly through our experience with the Wizards. And so with COVID, we were like, look, there are no other podcasts where you got 4 women who have access to the team coming together for a podcast. So it's a weekly podcast. We're available on Spotify right now. We're also available on YouTube at the Triple W. Also topic wise. So every week we talk about the Wizards, what's going on in the NBA, as well as a woman's spotlight. So it's like the 3 W's to kind of go along with our title of our show. And so you can catch that. Once again, it is Triple W Pod, on Twitter. That's where you can find us, and also Instagram. And that's also our YouTube. And like I said, we are on Spotify, Triple W Podcast.
Yep, yeah, it's a very good podcast. Make sure you check it out. I've listened to every episode so far.
Thank you. We appreciate the support.
Really good. Let's now get to the sports.
Okay.
Sticking with the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
How do you? What do you have to say to Wizards fans that want to give up on this season already? What do you have to say to comfort them, or do you even have anything to comfort them?
I don't have any comforting words because, Wizards fans, I think that they have been very patient, and I understand the frustration. Right before the All-Star break, it seemed like the team was on the up and up. They came back from the All-Star break and they are back to the struggle. So I can understand the fans being frustrated. There's no consistency so far. And I don't know if I have too many encouraging words. I mean, if I was a fan of the team, I'd be frustrated as well. So there's, I completely understand.
Man, I'm hearing a lot of Lakers fans are talking about their situation with LeBron and AD out, and they're, complaining and talking about the things that they need to get and the pieces and everything. And I'm like, I've never seen the Wizards win a finals in my life. Like, I've never seen that.
And in the 10 years I've been here, I haven't seen it either. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of work that still needs to be done. I think with the John Wall trade, getting Russell Westbrook, he's definitely been a positive to the team from a leadership perspective, and him and Brad are starting to gel together a little bit better. But when you make such a trade like that, you have to make sure, in my opinion, that it's going to pay off. And I don't know if people feel like it's paid off yet. And that's not a knock against Russell Westbrook, because like I said, he's been doing great, but it's more than Russell Westbrook. It's more than Bradley Beal. Everyone has to contribute, and everyone has to show up to play if they're even gonna make it to the playoffs. But that's looking a little bleak.
Washington football team,
yes,
made some decent signings. Signed Ryan Fitzpatrick. BigThad calls him Fitzmagic.
You gotta call him Fitzmagic.
Fitzmagic. That's what I called him too. He better bring some of that magic.
Right.
Curtis Samuels and some other additions. You covered the team last year. With these additions, what do you expect for the Washington football team next season?
I expect them to take another step forward. They needed another weapon. Wide receiver wise, Terry McLaurin, if you shut him down, I mean, there weren't a lot of other options. I mean, we saw Cam Sims, when he was in the game, he made some plays, but they just didn't have a consistent option. So I think in this situation, you have to watch Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. Like, we've seen Curtis Samuel, like, he can make some plays. So I think that that's definitely going to bode well and also kind of open the offense up a little more. But I definitely expect them to take a step forward. Hopefully, I mean, I think it's supposed to be a competition between Heineke and Fitzpatrick. It depends on who the starter is. But with Fitzpatrick, it's like, are we going to get good Fitzpatrick? Right. Or are we going to get like mediocre Fitzpatrick? So that is what I'm waiting to see. All right, like I said, is he going to bring that magic or not? And I think he's definitely a temporary option. I mean, that's kind of been his role in his career, but I do expect them to take another step forward.
All right.
Show a little more consistency because, it was a struggle. They were up and down throughout the season too. So
Yeah, definitely.
show more consistency from the beginning. Don't slide into the playoffs like run your way into the playoffs.
Right.
I said we were going to have you for 10 minutes. I believe we had you for 20 minutes. I feel like we could talk to you even more. I see you're holding the phone in your hand. You're such a professional. Thank you so much, Carita. Before you go, let everyone know where they can find you on social media. Also plug your business.
Okay, so thanks again for having me. And you can find me, my personal page. I put it up here. I'm on social media at Carita C. Parks on all platforms. Also, be sure to follow Double Take Sports. That's my sports media company at DBL Take Sports on all platforms. Also, Parks PR. That's my PR company. So you can follow the company at Parks PR on Instagram.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you once again, Carita. We will have to do this again. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Definitely.
Tell the rest of the crew that I said hello. And
Absolutely.
thank you once again.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye.
That is Carita Parks. Carita C. Parks on social media and Parks PR. Make sure you check her out. Follow, subscribe to the podcast. Before we move to the next topic, I want to give a shout out to Derrick Jordan. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe.
D, my man D. Yo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I saw it pop up and I almost said something. But yeah, Derrick, what's up, son? That's dog. He went good football player back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
One of your DeMatha Stags.
No. He actually grew up in Howard County.
So, okay.
Yeah. I think it was Seneca Valley or one other one. So good ones back then. They were undefeated in the States, all that good stuff. So
Derrick, let us know where you played football. And he also mentioned they had two sets of teams, talking about the Wizards that should have made the conference finals at least.
Yeah.
That first LeBron team in 2007, that Wizards team was supposed to get at least to the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2017, game 7 against the Celtics, we were there.
Yeah.
We were there. John Wall hits that crazy shot in game 6 to get us a chance. And we could have got to the conference finals. And he said he went to Wild Lake. Yes, Wild Lake.
Yeah, that's what. See, I always they're almost like the same color as Seneca Valley, but Seneca Valley's up in Montgomery County. I just remember that. Yeah, but Wild Lake, yeah.
Hey man, Derrick, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you can be up to date on all of our content. We're gonna do things a little bit different. We usually have the sports free zone, but because of Carita Parks' interview, we want to say thank you for her taking time out. She had a big appointment that she had to attend to unexpectedly. So we said, hey, we'll still work around your schedule. So we thank you for that. Let's now get to the sports free zone. Unfortunately, we had another mass shooting, second mass shooting in a week, pretty much. Last week, it was in the Atlanta, Georgia area where an individual killed, I believe, 8 Asian people.
I think it was six
of them were women. And at several massage therapy establishments, he was arrested. He is now charged with murder. They're not trying to say it's a hate crime, but we know what it is. And then yesterday? Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
I want to say it was yesterday for some reason, but my days run together. So
yeah, with the pandemic,
it could be Monday. It could have been Monday. So
had another mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado. It was Monday. Now I remember.
It was Monday. Okay.
In Boulder, Colorado, a gentleman who literally bought their, according to reports, bought their weapon on the day of the mass shooting, the same day. You had people who said it's hard to register to vote in this country. than to get a gun.
Yeah.
Killed 10 people in a grocery store, including a police officer, the first police officer to respond. He was arrested and is now charged with murder for 10 counts of murder. Like Derek said, back to normal, so to speak. And
right.
You're right about that. I mean, violence has been, this country's a violent country. But, during the pandemic, or during most of the pandemic, we weren't really seeing too much of this. Now things are starting to open up a little. Unfortunately, these things are happening. Why do you think, Thad? Why do you think these suspects are able to end up, being apprehended for these situations?
You really want me to answer that question? I mean, yeah, and you know me, I'm one of the most objective people ever. I try not to play any type of racial, sexist things, when it comes to stuff like this. But it's been proven over and over and over again that when it comes to us, we're not going to be apprehended and be able to walk into a police station, you know what I'm saying, in handcuffs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happened more so than not, you know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing I can think of. Because it's happened multiple times, and it's happening every single time. Like, you would think, like me, I have no problem. I don't care if you're black, white, whatever. If it's a mass shooting and you killing multiple people, there's no reason for you to be alive. No reason at all. You know what I'm saying? None. But it's even in instances where it's not mass shootings like this, we still end up being dead. Instead of being apprehended and brought in to face my crimes. You know what I'm saying? And you know me, I've literally grown up with more than half of the Prince George's County Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I have family in other departments. You know what I'm saying? And when we sit down and talk about this stuff, they're at a loss for words. They don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about all races here that we've had this discussion. And they literally don't understand. Like, they see what we see. They see that these folks that are doing these more heinous crimes than others have died for are not being killed, or they're still alive. They're going to court to face the crime and being judged by their peers. You know what I'm saying? So I can't even say it's the system. It's literally who is there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just a certain thing in the system now that has always been there, but now we're actually seeing it. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of them things.
Derek says the latest shooter, they are bringing back the ISIS as a possible scapegoat because the gentleman is from what I understand, Arab descent. From what I understand, I haven't even seen a photo, but name, it seems like that. Let's now get to more exciting topics to talk about. And it's crazy that this is considered exciting. But, Quavo and Saweetie have split.
Oh, man.
No longer an item. Saweetie mentioned on social media that she is tired of being hurt. Didn't really say exactly what it was, but implied that Quavo was stepping out on their relationship. So, of course, he got a lot of heat. The memes were flying. He got all the slander. And then word came out that Quavo brought back the Bentley that he had bought for her.
Yeah,
Come
he
to find
supposedly
out,
had a repo man go get it or something, right?
yeah, according to reports, the Bentley was leased. So when he said they're not together, so he was like, "Well, let me bring it back to the bring it back to the dealership." So,
Wow.
I mean, she's out of the Bentley now. Mind you, I don't think Saweetie is really missing the Bentley per se.
Right.
My understanding is she
You got
was
some
kind of,
money, right?
yeah, she got money on her
Yeah.
own, and she's been in the industry for a while. I believe a parent of hers was in the industry, so
Oh, okay.
it's not like she didn't know what happens, or she doesn't, she's not part of it. So yeah, man, they broke up. The jokes came out, man,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, whew, hilarious. They said how Quavo was really a Future, acting like Future, and we didn't even know. Because the thing about it is, a lot of people kept on saying how they're such a great black celebrity couple. Like you would see memes all the time talking about goals, and it was Sweetie and Quavo,
Uh,
and there was a constant comparison between Sweetie and Quavo and Cardi B and Offset, and it was like, well, they're not like Cardi B and Offset. They're not
right.
having issues in the public, and Quavo isn't, stepping out, but it looks like he is. Man, maybe they need to take advice from Takeoff and just be like, look, y'all ain't gonna know who I'm with because you
Right.
never see anyone with Takeoff.
I mean, you really don't see Takeoff that much either, but yeah, like I forgot he was part of the group. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Remember, he was gone for a little bit.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It was like what, a year or so where he was not. I mean, he was incarcerated, I believe.
Yeah. And
So,
then you saw him again when that whole academics thing and Joe Budden interview happened. That's when you saw him again. Yeah. I remember now.
Now I need to find that clip.
Oh man.
Now I need to find that clip. Anyway, so and then other news in Black Love taking a fail. And I don't like to make fun of failed Black Love, but
I'll make fun of anything. You know that. I don't even care.
This one though was better than Quavo. This was when it came to the news. This one was better than Quavo and Saweetie. Derrick Jaxn, Jaxn, relationship guru, motivational speaker, writer, orator.
I literally had no idea who this is.
You never heard of him before this?
No, never had no idea who this dude was.
No, this dude's been big for a while. That's
why I heard. I was like, yo, I have no idea who they're talking about, but these memes and videos are hilarious.
I've known about him nearly 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Like nearly 5. Like I've seen his videos. I used to see him on Facebook first. And, I was just like, oh, this dude on Facebook.
Right,
and then obviously he grew the channel. And then it was YouTube and everything. Man. So Derrick Jaxn, for those that don't know, Derrick Jaxn is a relationship guru. But when you look at his videos, they're mostly targeted to women.
Yeah, he literally bashes men.
Yes,
he bashes men for everything,
and
like
he tells
literally
women,
everything.
Tells women what they want to hear.
Yep.
Tells them the type of men that they should be looking at. And let me tell you something. I know some women that subscribe to the message of Derrick Jaxn. Like, I know. There's one specifically in my head right now. I used to see her post videos on Facebook on a weekly about something Derrick Jaxn said and how, he's right about this and men ain't, what. Then come to find out, a young woman decided to air out the dirty laundry and basically said, yep, I've been having a relationship with Derrick Jaxn. Here are the text messages. We've done this, and that. Well, either yesterday or Monday. Like you said, the days are just
Yeah, they go together. They go together. You know what I'm saying?
Derrick Jaxn came out with his wife and spoke about the incident. And he said, you know what? A word has come out about some stuff with me. And I just want you all to know, and this is coming from me, that yes, I stepped out on my marriage. And yes, it is not part of what I've been, basically trying to say in my videos, da da da. Hey, he went on and on. Now, this is the thing. I'm gonna show y'all some images of Derrick Jaxn with his wife.
Yo. And it didn't even seem like he was apologizing to her throughout the video.
If my computer would act straight. Let's see if I can open this here. Boom. So yeah, he was there with his wife. And
she basically had a shower cap on.
Here we go. Here, got a video. I got a photo of it right here. Oh, I thought I'd. Well, there you go. You can see him right there.
Yeah,
this is what she had on a live stream right here.
Right.
Like, are you serious?
Like, wow.
So then the attention turned to also her, and was, some people on social media are cruel. They said, well, no wonder he's cheating on her. I don't condone that message. I'm just letting y'all know that. That is what plenty of people were saying. Like, no wonder. Like,
wow.
I'm going to say this, though. When it happened, I thought it was very funny because I'm like, this dude always used to be talking about the men that women should be staying away from, and he ended up being the man
you should be staying away from. Right.
And I'll look from the beginning. I always thought this. I always thought something was wrong when he was doing his videos from his pickup truck all the time.
He was probably on his way to go get a piece of tail.
Perfect.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, if you're that type of guy that's constantly saying this about men, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's that dude. If there was any dude in your group of friends, you know from the jump, like, nah, that dude, you don't trust that dude right there. You know what I'm saying? You don't tell him nothing, because this is what he's going to be going to this and saying this. He's that dude, right? But he's also that dude to tell. He will tell all of them, hey, this is what's going on. This guy, blah blah blah. Not and next, he's still trying to get with the shorty. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? That's that dude. That's that dude right there.
I'm gonna see, man.
And then he started talking about the book.
But yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie. Messy, and we like mess. I think that's what it is. We just like messy.
We love the messy stuff. We love the messy stuff.
Oh man, my internet's acting up. Jeez, I can't stand this internet provider. My goodness. I should.
Oh, so we ain't gonna call them out. We ain't gonna call them out. You know what I'm saying? I'm just messing with you.
Nah,
I like messy stuff.
Xfinity, my goodness. Now if Xfinity wants to give me a sponsorship, I'll take that back. But geez,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm sitting there connected directly to the router.
Yeah,
Ethernet. Still having issues. My goodness. We supposed to have the fastest speed up in here. But anyways, man. BigThad.
Yep.
We've had a fun time recording this episode and live stream, by the way. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to Carita Parks. Make sure you follow her on Twitter at Carita C Parks. and on Instagram, also by that same name, and her public relations company, PR Parks or Parks. Oh, geez, hold on. Parks PR. Sorry,
Yeah.
Parks PR. I am sorry.
Wow.
I was about to mess that up.
See, we like it messy, man. We like it messy. You know that.
So yes, Parks PR on Twitter. I mean Twitter and Instagram, and then also Carita C Parks. Want to give a shout out also to one of our listeners, Derrick. Thank you for tuning in. Pass the word, man. He mentioned Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels now, when it comes to the relationship stuff, that type of dude.
I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who that is. Nah, I don't pay attention to them, bro. I don't pay attention to that stuff. And you see why. But I kind of do want to start watching it because they seem to be very messy.
Let me tell you this. And I'm going to put this out there for everyone. So no one can come back and say anything to me. I believe Kevin Samuels hates black women. I think he has mommy son issues. Because the way he talks to black women is, at times, I'm like, yikes. There are some times where he is like telling straight facts, though.
Wait.
He's a brutally honest dude.
Is this the guy that like women would ask him questions, like live, ask him questions, and he'll be like, what are you doing? Like, are you doing this? This is the reason why you're not getting it, because you're doing this. Okay, that dude. Okay.
Came up with the
he kind of looks like a pimp.
Yeah, he came up with the whole high value, low value man or woman.
I've seen some clips. He's a
consultant. What kind of consultant? A image consultant. Yes.
Oh.
He started his YouTube channel where he was doing colognes, reviews for colognes, but he just blew up with the relationship stuff. But so let me say, like I say, I think he hates black women, but not because but contradicts. Let's remember that. I think he hates black women. At the same time, he be speaking some facts for some of them, and he's brutally honest. So I mean, there's the entertainment aspect of that, the brutal honesty. Check out Kevin Samuels at least one time. And he has stuff that came out the other day, but it didn't seem to bury him. His ex-wife said he owes child support, but that hasn't buried him yet. And then she said how he didn't actually graduate from the college that he claims to have graduated from. He does not have a degree in the degree that he claims to have. So yeah, man. But yeah, Kevin Samuels he's the guy on top now because Derrick Jaxn falling off. And Steve Harvey technically has never fallen off technically because of who he is. But Steve Harvey was the guy, with the whole Think Like a Man books that he had. Right. And everyone's just, men didn't.
Hold up, those books were real?
Yeah.
I thought that was just a movie.
Nah, he had a book, I believe a series of books.
See, that's why I don't follow that stuff. That's what it is. That's why. I had no idea. I thought it was just a movie. I knew the book was in the movie, but I didn't realize that was actually a real book. Yeah. I don't follow that stuff no more. See, that's what it is. I like messy. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just kind of just observe and watch the messiness.
Yeah, just go on YouTube and look up Kevin Samuels.
I will. I'll give you a review next week of Kevin Samuel.
All right, once again, man, thank you, BigThad, for everything you do. Thank you, Carita Parks, for coming on. Make sure you follow her at Carita C Parks and Parks PR on all social media platforms. Shout out to OSS 980, where Harold D. Jeff Aaron. Shout out to Soggy Nachos. Shut Your Face. Curls and Sports. Make sure you check out her podcast, Curls and Sports. Also, the 4th and 13th podcast with Jay, Bobby, and Rios. Go look. Just that you got to see this.
What?
And you can watch it on YouTube also if you want. But 4th and 13th.
4th and 13th?
Okay. Yes, 4th and 13th. You have to watch the last episode with their boy Malik. My goodness.
Okay. I'll
It
do
is
that.
like the most hilarious, annoying interview you probably like hilarious and most annoying at the same time. You gotta check them out.
All right, bet.
Oh man. Also check out my boy Mike Edwards at the Dual Exchange. Check them out. And anything else before we roll out here, Big Thad?
Nah, I think I'm good, man. Yeah, I can't think of nobody right now. Oh no, you know what? Shout out Derrick, man. Derrick Jordan, my man. Yeah, we went to Frostburg together he stayed through Frostburg, I believe.
I like
I was only there for that semester, that freshman semester. You know what I mean? But that's my man, yo. It's been a while since we've seen each other, but shout out to Derrick, man.
Oh man. Until next time, everyone. Sports reality. Peace.
Peace.